You're watching KREX Television, Grand Junction, Colorado.
And we welcome those of you that have just watched New Mexico take down San Diego State. Spiro Ditas, Jim Spinarkle in Ames, Iowa for this massive showdown in the Big 12. Texas Tech and Iowa State. Pretty little turnaround by Josiah Mosley, the sophomore, who's starting to come into his own, Jimmy, last couple of weeks.
Yeah, and Spiro, I'll tell you, the first few minutes of this game, it's been amazing with Iowa State taking that shot clock down defensively and forcing Texas Tech to struggle to even get a shot off, even though they got one to go just then.
Only the third all-time meeting between these two teams when they have both been ranked inside the top 20. And one of the sharpshooters of the country, Momcilovic, with his second bucket.
Just incredible the way he gets his shot off. A little bit every so often in traffic, but watch him from the three-point stripe. Deadly.
Mosley underneath. Quinta kicks. This is Atwell showing the three-point stroke.
And he can compete at the three-point line also.
Number 4 three-point shooter in the country in terms of accuracy is Atwell. As we cross the 14-minute mark, Iowa State and Texas Tech. The Red Raiders, of course, third game since the devastating injury of their superstar JT Toppin. Look at that pass, just exquisitely done. High Z, the backdoor cut, set up beautifully by Buchanan.
Yeah, it doesn't happen unless Buchanan's willing to put the ball on the floor, which he just did with a little bit of an emphasis to bring defenders to him. Just trying to keep the fans involved here because this place gets very, very loud.
Iowa State 48-2 in this building over the last 3 seasons, nearly unbeatable. Atwell, not that time.
That's just a defensive lapse just there, but they keep firing.
Anderson, too much. Momcilovic tracks down the loose change, and Texas Tech now is 2 of 9 from deep.
Yeah, even that last one right there, the Atwell one you take all day long.
Lipsy short arms that floater, and then the officials are going to get him on a reach-in loose ball. That'll be Lipsy's first. As we take a look at the players on the floor, we are going to get some substitutions here. Bamboye, interestingly, is going to reinsert himself into the game, Jimmy, with 2 personals here. Interesting move by McCasland with 12 and change left in the half.
Yeah, not that deep also, so they got to really be careful with him and keep him. You know, one of the things that he likes to do is go after the offensive glass in particular, where he had some problems early on.
And boy, that foul on Lipsy was his second, so Lipsy to the bench for TJ Otzelberger. Yeah. Huge call in this game.
Absolutely one of their best defenders. Nice
Bamboye, hard flush.
Yeah, good look. And with that slip cut, he's just hanging around the glass. Exactly what they try to do. It's one of the things that they've always tried to do with JT Toppin. Middle of the floor, slicing to the basket cuts, but he's out with that problem with the knee.
This is Jefferson against 2, just too much.
Well, the thing about Jefferson, too, is he's 6'9", 240. Has a nice stroke from the outside, but he can really muscle you up down low, and they look for him in the blocks in the middle of the floor.
So Jefferson has 7 of the Cyclones' first 14 points. Tough catch in the corner by Bryan. Another reset. Atwell.
Look at the pressure from Iowa State. Even the bigs are out there. Look at Buchanan's out there.
Petty launches and connects. Texas Tech, boy, doesn't matter how many they miss, they're going to keep firing from deep.
They sure do, because they have guys who have percentages. 70% of his shots come from the three-point stripe.
This is Bateman. He's had some big moments last couple of weeks. Offensive rebound, Buchanan. Jefferson thought about it, now he's going to reset as he works against Watts.
So we're at 6'9", he can reset it as that point forward. Yeah, you want to go right at Bamboye if you can.
He's playing with 2 fouls. Buchanan, 3 to shoot, reach in. Looks like they're going to get Watts.
Yep.
On the perimeter. And everyone's going to catch their breath. A 2-point lead for Texas Tech. 2 of the powerhouses of the Big 12 on the national stage on CBS.
With Texas Tech trying to third game without Toppin, trying to regather and rebuild a little bit and keep advancing.
They've won their first 2 games since that devastating injury to Toppin, their superstar in the middle. So haven't had an opponent like this. Huge test for Grant McCasland's Red Raiders. Here's Jefferson. Going to reset. Buchanan, this is Bateman. Torrey from the corner. Good defense as they pack the middle, and then the takeaway, the steal. This is Bryan, open floor to the rim, and he lays it in.
Nice decision, too. I thought he was going to hang back just a little bit right then, but the defensive player laid back. Good recovery. Continue to play well here, Texas Tech, even though not shooting the three ball.
Jefferson guarded by Bamboye. Again, who's playing with two personals. Jefferson under control, and the rebound underneath by Jalen Petty.
How about Bamboye staying away, too, from a guy who knows how to score with his body?
Red Raiders have hit 6 of their last 8 shots. Amazing to watch this team as we get a whistle here. Bateman looks like he's going to be called for the contact. Watching the Red Raiders have to adjust after missing their superstar at such a late stage of the season. Meantime, the Iowa State tournament resume, how good that they've been. Remember, in the NCAA tournament's reveal last week, they were on the 1 line. Now they're down to the 2, Jimmy, after that loss at BYU.
Yeah, but they're a team that we've spoken about, can score, can shoot the ball from long range. They pass it very, very well, but they defend also, like right now.
Anderson setting the table, beautifully done to Bamboye.
Yeah, they're squeezing the floor, so the first part of that defense was very, very good, but Anderson is a little bit better when it comes to making things happen. Can't leave him.
Momcilovic, they did contest, and then it's saved underneath.
Did Anderson get a hand on that ball? He may have just deflected it a little bit.
Here's Anderson, top 10 in the country in both scoring and assists.
Nice look.
Bamboye, little stutter step, and he goes glass. Texas Tech has hit 8 of their last 10.
And Spiro, that's the type of game they were playing with JT Toppin on the floor. Look at the middle of the floor and let him operate. Now they're getting some mileage out of Bamboye. He just has to make sure he doesn't pick up another foul here in the first half.
There's the run, and then they poke it away. It was Watts. Loose ball. This is Torrey underneath. He's surrounded. This is Plata. Muscles his way up and puts it down.
Yeah, if Plata did his homework watching as he came into this game, he knew that Bamboye had 2 fouls, so he wasn't turning around and going to the corner. He was going to make something happen. Watch out.
Lawan Watts, young man whose confidence has been rising over the past couple of weeks, going to draw contact as we take a look at the fresh fun fact of the game presented by Fresh Bet. Iowa State, one of 3 major conference teams, still undefeated at home. What a run it's been for Duke, UNC. Jimmy, we know you never like to talk about the Tar Heels, but they've been tremendous. TJ Otzelberger,
Yep.
Jimmy, just consider what he inherited, a team that had won 2 games the year prior to his arrival, to what he's built, perennial contending team, as they're going to be headed to their 5th straight NCAA tournament.
Yeah, and he's set a great foundation with the culture of this team, with the dedication, the way these guys have 8 o'clock in the morning practices. I know you're rolling out of bed about 11 these days.
Anderson with a 3-point launch.
We've spoken about a couple of guys who can shoot the ball from long range. He's another one also at 44%. But they look very, very comfortable here. And from time to time, the building has gotten loud, but at other times, they've really silenced it.
What a season Anderson has put together. Probably does not get nearly the attention that he deserves.
And he doesn't get a rest either. He's playing just shy of 40 minutes.
Torrey, they got a piece.
Yep, again.
It was Petty.
Look at this pass.
Tough catch. Petty runs out of real estate. Somehow saves it. This is Atwell from 8. Splash! Texas Tech keeps coming. Timeout, Iowa State. It's a 15-2 Red Raiders run.
And Tech's making it happen, going up and down the floor. That's where they're getting their shots. Long, and they're starting to come back. And the coach made it sound like, well, you know what? I've been able to rebuild with these guys, but it's not a rebuild because they've been around and they work hard for this program.
Jefferson is going to be called for a travel. There's a little bit of contact, but Tony Padilla says that Jefferson shuffled his feet, and it's the 2nd Cyclones turnover.
Fans getting annoyed, I would say, with the way things are going for Iowa State right now.
Remember, you saw that graphic earlier. Iowa State, the lone remaining undefeated team at home in the Big 12, as Anderson snaps the net. And they just can't miss. Make it 8 straight makes.
And that was a good example of the lack of Iowa State closing on that pick and roll and double teaming it, or at least making a decision to get it away from Anderson. Too much rhythm on that jump shot.
Lipsy playing with 2 personals, gets it to Torre. Now the reset, 9 on the timer. Lipsy, the 4-year starter, face of the program, drop stepping. Atwell got a clean strip. And right now, Iowa State just cannot unlock its offense. For the first time ever, UFC is live on CBS. Don't miss all the action inside the octagon at UFC 326 next Saturday, 8 to 10 Eastern on CBS, and continuing only on Paramount Plus. Shot clock at 1. Jefferson late to recognize the tap out by Heisey. And then the officials are going to get a blocking foul on Atwell. Yeah. Tough break for the Red Raiders.
Yeah, Atwell was leaning just a little bit on that one. Who's going to create the contact first? You try to go around, doesn't have good solid position. That's a good call from the officials.
That was the last foul that Texas Tech had to give, so there's 6. Next one puts Iowa State at the free throw line. Lipsy! Well, they got him. Mosley. Boy, that interior defense by Texas Tech has been incredible.
Yeah, they reacted very quickly. Right now, it looks as if he has a layup, and they continue to come after you and get the fingertip on the ball to deflect it.
Jefferson, and there's going to be an offensive foul. I believe it was Bateman.
Yeah, I think it was too.
So another Iowa State turnover, and right now their offense in complete disarray. Iowa State, if you just hopped on, with a 6 of 18 from the field, 2 of 7 from 3, and right now looking for answers.
And they have to do a little better job defensively on this play right here, where they continue to look and make things happen on the pick and roll. Now it's small versus big.
Atwell fires. So finally a miss, but they hit the offensive glass with Mosley. Tony Padilla blows the whistle. Looks like someone lost the wheel underneath. It's Watts. So the official is going to get him to get that sneaker relaced. But just amazing to see Texas Tech come in here. Again, no JT Toppin. How good this Iowa State team has been in this building, Jimmy. And they are playing with supreme confidence.
Fans even getting annoyed when the shoe comes off.
They're getting antsy. As Watts is going to throw in here, 17 to shoot, 6:37 left before halftime in this Big 12 late season showdown in Ames. Anderson probing, you see the trap.
Well, I like this matchup though with Anderson with the bigs out here. He should be able to go by people.
Anderson turns the corner and he goes high off glass.
You have to force him left too. Spiro, you cannot let him come at them with the right hand because he's so good. Now he's good going to his left, but I've always looked at the power side, your strong hand. You got to keep guys going away and using their weaker hand to be more effective defensively.
Momcilovic creating space, that patented little lean in, so skillful.
Yeah, well, part of that little lean in and then the little drift away gives him so much space. And they continue to get this matchup with Anderson where he can dictate and control the traffic. There we go again.
Anderson beautifully setting the table for Mosley.
Wouldn't you like to be out there with Anderson, Spiro, as a player?
Holy smokes.
Wow, does he find guys? But he's not in a hurry to do it either. He's just picking people apart.
If you have not seen Christian Anderson on a basketball floor this season, boy, you're introducing yourself to one of the truly elite two-way players in the country as we get a whistle here at the other end of the floor.
So if you're out of position, what do you generally start to do? Just that, you start to reach. He knows he's in trouble, and he knows he fouled also.
What a matchup between those two. Is now 1-1 bonus. Beg your pardon, 2 shots as Lipsy was fouled on the shot attempt. And those struggles from the three-point free throw line continue. CBS tomorrow. Don't miss a moment of the action in the #1 show on television. Justin Hartley stars in an all-new Tracker tomorrow on CBS. 14,000 plus. Great to have you with us in this raucous scene in Ames. Spiro Dedes, Jim Spanarkel, rest of our CBS crew. As Lipsy goes 1 of 2, he will sit Jimmy as they try to save him from his 3rd personal.
Yeah, and also giving Anderson a little bit of a break, which is a newsbreaker just there because he plays 38.5 minutes per game. But Grant McCaslin said, I'm going to try to get him a couple of minutes, keep him fresh, but He's got wheels, he's got motor, and he really can go after it.
Second most minutes per game of any player in the country.
Yeah, and watch the offense now. Is it a little different? It sure is, without him on the floor.
Little contact, no whistle. Bateman trying to feed the break, and it's a turnover. Buchanan couldn't squeeze it.
You know what I didn't like about that, just again, Spiro going down the floor. They looked like they were almost on top of one another, very close. He didn't get out enough to get an angle for a quick catch and go, but Atwell making a play defensively to save a bucket there.
Seem to be a little bit off so far, and give the Red Raiders all kinds of credit with their bothersome defense flying all over the gym so far.
Is this Anderson out there again right now?
Yeah. That was about as quick a rest as you'll ever see. Holy cow.
That was quick. And look at him, small versus big again outside. He just loves to pick people apart.
Anderson sizes up Buchanan, a little bit off target from three, and it's tracked down by Heisey.
But they'll take that shot, your Texas Tech. So watch the power game here with Jefferson.
Inside of 5 minutes left in the half. Jefferson and the officials are going to get contact here as Jefferson tries to work into the paint. So bonus situation, 1-and-1 for Jefferson. But can the Cyclones, Jimmy, start to capitalize on these free throws? They're 3 of their first 6.
You know, Jefferson's power game getting in the middle of the floor right there. And there's two guys defensively swiping at him.
So the foul charge there to Mosley. And now Jefferson. Officials did rule a 1-and-1 as the contact game before the shot. Jefferson hits on the front end.
Yeah, and I think that's the right call too. With the new continuation rule not even close to being applicable on that shot.
Joshua Jefferson, the senior, second year in Ames in the program. Remember, first 2 years at St. Mary's under Randy Bennett. 15th in the Big 12 this season in scoring. Also top 10 in rebounds and assists. And what has been a spectacular season.
And this is a wake-up call right now for the fans here. This is the wake-up call, setting the alarm for them to pick it up defensively and get to work their way back into this game.
There's that trap that has been so good for the Cyclones. Atwell in the corner, Watts, good movement. Atwell, 3 on the timer. Anderson, he'll fire, short.
And that's the defensive effort the fans wanted, and Iowa State wanted just then. Let's see if they can come down and make something happen.
Well, this place is ready to explode right here. Jefferson.
Yeah, this is a mismatch. He's got to get rid of it. Good catch.
Here comes Torrey down the lane, and the lob for Buchanan. And here come the Cyclones.
Yeah, well, Bamboye vacated defensively. He was going out to help from the defensive side and left the entire right side. And that's the message from the coach to the big guy right there in terms of way he just left it wide open. And the coach is letting them know it. Good reaction to watch on your right side. Defender goes up, nobody there to play and defend and block out. Iowa State moving it up. Motor that they must have. You know, he knows he has the talent to be able to score, play defense, but he says we have to match the motor of every single team we play. So far, so good here. The first 4 minutes, they were kind of equal, and then the next period of time, they took over with their motor at a higher level.
And Jimmy, he said, look, we're still figuring out what our ceiling is with this group, this iteration of our team without JT Toppin. But you listen to him talk, he is as confident as ever that they can still make that deep run through March.
Yeah, he sure is. And one of the things he knows is that he's got guys who can he can react with.
Well, everything but the finish that time from Watts, the redshirt junior. As we come up on 3 minutes left in the half.
Just enough to keep the Iowa State fans in when they get a miss like that. If that ball goes in, they sit back down and relax a little bit.
So you see the little drought here for the Red Raiders. Momcilovic, the three-point savant.
Good job by Mosley.
Momcilovic trying to create the space, missed it. And the rebound corralled underneath by Mosley.
Yeah, you see a little bit of trouble with him when he goes into the middle of the lane just then.
Texas Tech winning the rebound battle so far, 15-11. It's been a big part of this double-digit first half lead.
Somebody's got to help right now. Look, beautiful pass to the corner.
They get it to Atwell, and he connects from deep.
Wow, if you haven't seen Anderson play, like you said a moment ago, Spiro, that was just an extraordinary pass from high up left, almost by half court, to get it to the right corner. You don't see that pass too often.
There's the two-man action into the corner. Torrey, way too much. Buchanan caught it, and then they pick his pocket, and it's guess who? Anderson.
Good recovery to find the shooters in that transition, though.
Donovan Atwell, top 5 in the country in three-point accuracy. He's got a dozen already. This is Watts. Wants to take Buchanan. A couple of fakes. Beautiful little flip. And Texas Tech has the answer again. Timeout, Iowa State.
Yeah, when you watch Watts play, one of the things he likes to do, he loves to mix it up. So even way more than that. They've taken Iowa State out of their offensive sets a bit.
See how good the Cyclones have been in this building. 15-0 and 48-2 here over the last 3 years under TJ Otzelberger as Lipsy misses badly.
Yeah, that's not his game, really. He's an okay shooter, but not a great three-point shooter.
Good defense by Bateman to cut off the lane underneath. Mosley, full extension. And the Red Raiders have their largest lead.
And it was almost a hockey assist just then, Spiro, with Anderson again setting the table. He didn't get the assist on that one, but he made up for it passing to another guy to help out. There's a bump, too.
So the officials are going to get Anderson. I mean, this has been incredible to watch. No JT Toppin. Texas Tech coming into this building, and they have carved up Iowa State.
You know, the one thing about them is they pass the ball pretty well. Both of these teams statistically are pretty good passing the ball. 18 assists for Iowa State and 16 for the Texas Red Raiders.
Taman Lipsy, the senior leader, a man who has been so good, authoring one of the all-time careers in the history of this program. Young man who grew up here in Ames, was the latest local product to come here and become the face of this program. We think of some of the greats: Harrison Barnes, Doug McDermott, Fred Hoiberg, as he plays in his penultimate game in this building.
Yeah, and a simple substitution right there too, with Anderson being taken out of the game, and they'll let Watts run the point right now. You do not want to risk him getting a third foul in the first half.
So we hit the final 60 seconds of the half.
But the offense flows a little differently when he's on the floor.
Watts outside, good movement. This is Atwell. He has been lethal.
Spiro, one thing the scouting report has to know is that you cannot leave him alone with the way he could shoot the basketball. But he has gotten probably 4 good looks from long range, and he is now stroking it.
5th three-pointer for Atwell. Put back off the initial miss. It's Buchanan doing some nice work on the glass.
He sure is, especially the offensive side of the floor.
Final 21 seconds of the half.
And this is where you want to just sit on it. Make sure you get a good shot. Worst case scenario, if you that was a little bit of a reach across there. I was just going to say, don't go into the locker room any worse than where you are right now.
Cyclones can hold for the final shot. This is Jefferson running point. Crossover, spin, floater, misses, and then it's Buchanan again. So Blake Buchanan, who's been such a big piece for TJ Otzelberger, going to cut it to 16 as we reach halftime.
Yeah, the one-time Virginia player, look at him working the glass. He just parks himself in a very good spot. 2 buckets late here in the first half have really made a difference to kind of climb back a little bit, but they got a ways to go.
So that graphic just a moment ago, only the 2nd game this season that Iowa State has trailed here at home at halftime. We'll get to the Brent Stover and company in New York next for 18 at the half. Iowa State and Texas Tech on CB.
Enough and quickly enough in that first half. I'm sure they're going to make an assessment at halftime and evaluate that and make a different adjustment defensively.
Atwell playing in front of his parents today here in Ames, as this one is off the hand of Torrey, as TJ Otzelberger going to try to rev up his defense.
They're coming after. They want to get it out of Anderson's hands if they can. He has 2 fouls. That was key for him not picking up a third, and Bamboye, the same thing, avoided his 3rd foul. That was very important for Texas Tech entering the second half.
Told you about what's at stake for these two teams. Currently in a three-way tie for third place in the Big 12 standings.
And here comes the blitz. They're going to look to double team if they can. Here it comes.
Anderson, the trap. Could they say jump? Turnover.
That's what was not working for them in the first half. Iowa State forces 15 turnovers a game. They only had 5. But when you look at this, you're in trouble on the side of that play right here. And all of a sudden, things don't go your way.
The other thing Grant McCaslin told us yesterday, I want to try to have someone other than Anderson initiate their offense as Jefferson hits a nice little turnaround.
So we've seen two things in a hurry here, Spiro. Number one, the defensive decisions that they made to really up-tempo, and here's another double team. Deflection, still more trouble.
Well, look at this full court press. The officials are going to get, I believe, Torrey on a reach-in foul as they extend their full court defense.
And the second thing was getting Jefferson involved, but you see one deflection, you'll see a second one right here. Nothing like having 14,000 people play defense with you, right, to help you a little bit.
This is one of the top pressure defenses in the country. They forced the 6th highest turnover rate in America.
Smart to have Watts handle this ball a little bit against Jefferson, but he's having problems too.
Anderson, Watts kicks. This is Petty, and he was out of bounds.
The problem on that was the floater of a pass, right? If you're going to go from corner to corner, you don't want that high elevation on the ball because that allows the defense to then react and go side to side quicker.
So only 5 turnovers for the Red Raiders in the first half. 2 possessions in the second half, 2 turnovers.
Yeah, you might see a quick timeout to start this second half for Texas Tech.
Jefferson sizes up Bamboye into the lane, double teamed. Torrey from deep. These are 2 of the best three-point shooting teams in the country. They both started quietly, but then revved up in the first half.
Yeah, both at 39%. Let's see if they continue to double team. Here they come. They're just going to keep getting the ball out of his hands. Look at Bamboye is open. Nice look.
Anderson so skilled as a passer. Bamboye into the teeth of the defense.
So how do you describe that one, my friend? That little flip behind the head type pass? Boy, that was a dandy.
Anderson going deep into his playmaking bag of tricks.
And at 6'3", he has that height to be able to get through and see things that others can't.
Anderson in the corner. Doesn't like the hand check from Watts. Body bumping. Jefferson the spin. Missed it. Torrey. Reach and foul.
Nice work on the offensive glass by Torrey. Well, look at this double team. Now watch where this ball comes from. It's going to come from around the side. Right there across the back of his body, really. That beautiful pass to make it happen.
Killian Torrey is going to sit for TJ Otzelberger. And Christian Anderson, meantime, was just whistled for his 3rd personal, so he's got to be careful. Lipsy in the corner. Last touch by Texas Tech.
Yeah, but I think Jefferson, when he catches that ball one-on-one down there, I think he has to go after somebody. Lipsy will shoot it from the outside. Yeah.
Lipsy,
career. Like Petty got one right off the hands there. Didn't have a chance to defend himself.
Career 40-point three-point shooter Lipsy, but his numbers down this season. Momcilovic.
You want to see a ridiculous shooter. Watch that shot again. In terms of the way he comes from the right side and catches and goes with it. Wow, is that wild in terms of the quickness on it.
Record-setting three-point shooter this season. Bamboye, the recipient again.
Anderson made a better decision just then. Not only putting the ball to the middle of the floor, but did you notice his little burst down the sideline to get away from that double team? Great adjustment on the fly by Anderson.
Bamboye, by the way, still hasn't missed. He's 6 of 6. Here comes Lipsy as he finally gets his first bucket.
And a little different for him there. We saw him shoot the ball from long range. Not bad, it's right around 30%, but you want him putting the ball on the floor to make things happen.
Career low three-point shooting this season from Lipsy. But at that time, able to knife his way to the rack.
Yeah, 93 and 35 in his starts. There we go upstairs.
Boy, a little bit too much with that lob. Watts couldn't control. Turnover.
Yeah, that's why we want the small guy usually throwing it to the big guy.
So 3rd second-half turnover already by Texas Tech. This is High Z coming around the screen. They reset Lipsy.
Be able to shoot over him right here if he wants.
Momcilovic. Working against Anderson, soft touch, missed it. And another offensive rebound. It's Jefferson.
As a step.
Traveling violation.
Yeah, that was well defended.
That'll be the 7th giveaway by the Cyclones. Plata is going to check into the game, as will Jamarian Bateman.
So you see this, he's going to cut there. There's going to be 2 defenders on him right there, closing it out, and that forces him to walk. Nice work. The key right there for Texas Tech, Spiro, not reaching in and slapping and going for the ball, just using your body to basically squeeze an offensive player out of position.
Iowa State, a team that was on the 1 line during the NCAA Tournament Selection Committee's reveal last week. Another takeaway, Lipsy.
Nice look, couldn't catch it though.
Bateman couldn't squeeze it. Lipsy gets it back underneath Jefferson. Beautiful fake. Wow. Spin. Plata. And he's going to shoot free throws.
Wow, there were guys jumping all over that. Momcilovic is going to let them rip though this afternoon. Watch how quickly he gets it off. Here he comes off the screen. He's got a trailer right on his right hip and right. I think what you do, obviously, you're parking him on the bench, and I think you play a scoreboard and you play the clock game here, Spiro, and I'm going to throw 8s at you right now. Hopefully they can get to 8 minutes left in this game where it's relatively close, or if it gets below 8 points a game, they may have to put him back in sooner than they want to.
It starts to confuse me when you talk numbers. But a lot on the mind of Graham McCaslin. Of course, you're already without your superstar JT Toppin, done for the year with that devastating ACL injury. And now Christian Anderson. How long does McCaslin keep him on that?
The other thing I would expect to see, and it doesn't look like they're going to really approach half court, but with that double teams, really trying to double team with Watts handling the ball.
Watts going to reset here. Guarded by Bateman. Trapping defense continues. It's been sensational. High Z bumped. The officials get Tyree Bryan in the transition. And Iowa State has been a completely different team since the intermission.
Nice passing lane interception. Now watch as he goes. You see how he's dribbling a little bit to his right just then? He's not bumping into the guy, but he's forcing the defender, Bryan, to make sure he gets hit. Good work there by High Z.
They've hit the offensive glass 5 more shots that they've gotten since, as Bateman is turned back. Good interior defense.
Yeah, the flow of the offense, as we've touched on in the first half, when Anderson is on the bench, it's a little bit or a lot different in terms of their flow and getting their shots. This is one-on-one.
Jalen Petty doing his dance, working against Jefferson. Into the corner, Bryan from deep. That's a 3. Big shot with the shot clock winding down.
It sure is for a guy who's only scoring 4 points a game on the year. He's going to get some extra minutes this afternoon.
First year in the program for Bryan, the senior. 2 years at Santa Clara, 1 at Charleston Southern.
Good double team.
As Tony Padilla blows the whistle, Joshua Jefferson knocked to the deck. With 14 and change now left in this second half.
So he knows he can go one-on-one with folks, and there's that grab. I think they got Watts there. Petty coming from behind.
Jimmy already, that's the 4th team foul. So you only have 2 more to give.
Right.
If you're the Red Raiders, and still so much time on the clock.
And that's why I think you'll continue to see Iowa State. They'll take their 3s when they have them, but they're going to keep looking to the blocks and to the post.
Jefferson. Play to try to crash the offensive glass, and it's taken by Watts.
Nice work there by Mosley to get a hand on that ball to free it, too.
So precarious couple of moments here with Christian Anderson on the Texas Tech bench. Picked up his 4th personal. Petty steps back. Play to get a piece.
Yep, he sure did.
Watts loose ball into the corner. This is Bryan, and that's another 3.
He's getting smiles from Atwell on the other side of the floor, who's the 3-point shooter for this squad. But Mosley, beautifully done.
A young man who lost his starting position. We've seen a cut in his minutes of late. Momcilovic, the 3-point magician.
And if you run at him, you just have to stay away from him. Watch the run out here. Try to go after it. You got to make sure you're clear of the shooter's arm. He is so quick with this shot. And yep, he gets him right across the arm. You don't even have to talk about it. It's so obvious to see.
3rd on Watts. So Milan Momcilovic leads the country in 3-point percentage. Second in threes per game. Young man who grew up in the suburbs outside Milwaukee, as he has authored one of the all-time shooting seasons in the history of Iowa State.
Or of anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. As we cross the 14-minute mark left in regulation.
Well, Texas Tech wanted to take some time off the clock and be patient in this game.
Mosley thought about a potential lob as he left it short. This is Taman Lipsey. Now to Buchanan. High Z.
They got a mismatch down low if they want to go to it. Right there.
Buchanan lobbing it. Momcilovic. Good hands underneath. It was Petty.
It was great reaction because Petty was giving up a bunch of inches down low just then.
Tony Padilla blows the whistle here. Potential clock issue. I believe the shot clock was stuck on 30, so now the officials are going to go to the table, Jimmy, to try to determine how much they're going to take off here with 13:28 left showing in regulation. Good veteran crew here headed by Tony Padilla, veteran of 4 Final Fours in his officiating career. Also Brett Smith, that's Chris Merlot with Padilla at the table. TJ Otzelberger is going to make a change. Torre in and High Z to the bench.
Yeah, what they're going to do there from Iowa State's perspective is make sure they have fresh legs on the point guards. And that makes sense because they have a little bit more depth.
Jimmy, what a season it's been for Iowa State. And you think of everything they've accomplished this season, 24-4, 11-4 in a rugged Big 12, and then Texas Tech. You know, the emotional roller coaster from them over the last few weeks. Remember, they took down #1 Arizona middle of February in Tucson, and then the loss of JT Top. And this is the last couple of seconds with the play clock stuck on 30. So they'll put a couple of seconds back on, or take off of the play clock.
Yeah, I think they're looking at close 8 to 10 seconds possibly.
But Jimmy, I mean, this has been impressive. Iowa State clearly showing some signs, trying to desperately cut into this deficit. But Texas Tech, everything they've been through the last couple of weeks to come in here and play at this level has been something.
Yeah, and I think what you'll see once we near that 10-minute mark, just a little over 3 minutes away, you're going to get a feel for what the shift of momentum is going to be in this game. I just get a feel that Iowa State's going to come up with something to shift the momentum, which has been in the favor of Texas Tech. Right off the bat in the first half was extraordinary. But I just, you know, it's like one of those feels you get in basketball that you can sense that these guys are getting a little bit more confident as a team on their home floor.
All right, so the officials actually take 19 seconds off of the clock. So 13:09 on the game clock, 24 on the shot clock. Texas Tech, there's your shooting breakdown for the Red Raiders. Up 14 as we hit the 13-minute mark. Mosley.
Tough pass.
Ryan underneath. Good movement.
Nice
Got a fingertip on it. Leon Horner. Loose ball. Atwell. That's a rare miss for him. Torre the take.
Good look.
Bateman transition 3. Missed it. And then it's Buchanan.
No hoop,
the basket will not count. The officials are going to get a loose ball foul against the Cyclones.
Yeah, Buchanan did a terrific job in that first half. If you remember, in the last 45 seconds, getting 2 buckets. Shot goes out. Watch on the right side of the screen. Whoa.
Jimmy, I didn't see anything there.
I'm not sure I did either. Let's see where it... Oh, you know what? It's not Buchanan. Let's see who they give this foul to.
Yeah, they got it on Lipsey.
Lipsey, yeah. I think I was looking big. I think you might have been too, because he followed up. I just assumed that he got that layup, and it was very easy. So generally, you say, how did he get it that easily? Generally, because they push off. But I think it was Lipsey on another player down deep.
So the officials are at the table here. Officials are trying to determine whether the foul came before the shot attempt, Jimmy.
Well, here, a three is going to get it, and there's the pull down. I think he still has the ball in his hand. To my eye, I don't think that's going to be a bucket because that foul occurred before it released. That's only a split second, but I'm pretty sure that he did not get it off.
Gene Steratore weighing in says no basket. The officials have seen enough. Here's Tony.
There's no basket on the play. The foul call has been confirmed.
There's a reason they don't give whistles out to fans walking in the door, right? Because they don't like that call. And most of the people upstairs in this building, Spiro, from a perspective of watching a game, they will not be able to see what happened on the floor with the angle that we have.
Officials have confirmed no basket. They determined that the ball was still in the hands of Buchanan.
So it's going to occur right here. So big guy coming down. He gets it. He's clear. He gets the clean, but look at the pull down beforehand. Doesn't get the shot off. Now, if the ball was released before the foul, then that bucket's going to be good. I'm going to slow down the momentum just a little bit for Iowa State.
So there's Lipsey's line. 14-point Texas Tech lead, 12.5 to play.
Torrey is taking swipes out front.
Christian Anderson still on the Red Raiders bench. The officials are going to get a whistle here. This place is ready to erupt. But Jimmy, again, if you're Graham McCasland, you're buying some precious time here with Christian Anderson on the bench.
Absolutely. You're
still maintaining this double-digit lead.
Yeah, you're keeping the 14-point lead. And as I mentioned before, I think he's probably thinking the 8 minutes and under if he can get him to that point.
Only the third all-time meeting between these two teams when they both have been ranked inside the top 20. Mosley, wild miss on a floater. Offensive rebound.
A lot of deflections right there.
Shot clock didn't reset. They didn't draw iron. 4 on the timer. There's a deep three. It's good from Petty.
We saw that in the first half also, if you remember, Spiro, those deflections on the missed shots from long range. They were just tracking the ball a whole lot better. Nice recovery just then.
And Petty, who had been slumping of late, the freshman with a gigantic three.
Petty with the foul just then on the cut.
Boy, it's getting hot here in Ames. The Red Raiders on the big stage, giving the Cyclones everything they need. On the 4 line, and Iowa State, remember, on the 1 seed line last week. But after their loss at BYU, our CBS bracketology people have the Cyclones now on the 2 seed line. So just so much still hanging in the balance with just 1 week left of the regular season.
A little hold on the opposite side of the floor.
Iowa State, keep in mind, has never been a 1 seed ever in their NCAA tournament history. As Jefferson now is going to get to the free throw line to look at the Big 12 standings. We saw the big win from Houston today, huge over Colorado. So they are now all alone in second, and 3 teams tied, Jimmy, for 3rd place.
It's a great conference.
Arizona right now double digits in the second half against Kansas. Lipsey, Jenny on the spot.
Now one of those rare misses out long range of Chievich, and one of the things about that was that it was so off for him, it was easier to rebound on the weak side.
Excellent pronunciation.
Thank you.
Told you about the Cyclones' prowess, undefeated in this building this season, 15-0. Mosley chiseling his way to the rack.
Yeah, you see the difference with Mosley just in the last 2 previous trips. He was in the middle of the floor and he threw up a little floater. With his size at 6'8", 225, you got to throw it down.
Boy, beautiful pass. Lipsey just surgical to Buchanan. Lipsey 6th in the Big 12 in assists per game. Just magical with that pass.
And he's a very good defender also. Oh, watch that. That's up for grabs. Well, that was an easy one to pick off.
Here comes Mosley. A lot of contact. They're going to get high Z. And Josiah Mosley to the free throw line for 2.
And here's that little bit of a lob. Well done. We've seen some good action for Buchanan. Have a nice game this afternoon.
So Christian Anderson, Jimmy, is waiting to check in at the table. Graham McCasland is not going to waste any more time. Still 10:42 left as Mosley knocks in the first. And there's more college hoops fun coming Wednesday night, 8 Eastern, as the 23rd ranked St. Louis Billikens will battle Loyola Chicago Wednesday night, CBS Sports Network. I sense a little tension from you.
Yeah, I'm just thinking is a combination, right? He has there's a combination of Anderson and the belief that he knows what he's doing on the floor, and he's going to play very careful in terms of picking up a foul without reaching. But on the other side, has the Texas Tech team given him more confidence as a coach that the way they're playing? So I think it's dual right here, but they're going to challenge him.
Lipsy,
wait a minute.
As we're going to get contact here, it was Jalen Petty. Officials said that he was in the act of shooting, so they're going to put Lipsy at the free throw line for 2 shots.
Notice Anderson was just retreating to the corner on that replay also. But this is a team does not shoot the free throw very well at 67%. So they have a terrific opportunity now with being at the line to make things happen, with being in that bonus.
Taman Lipsy, who grew up in the shadows of this place, born and raised here in Ames, out of Ames High School, was a former Iowa High School State Player of the Year, former Mr. Basketball in this state. What a basketball story he's written. He's got 10.
93 and 35 in his career starts here.
And now we come up on the midway point in a second half that has massive playoff implications in the Big 12. Anderson
just has to be careful without running somebody over. Here are the big guys trying to double team him, but he should be able to go by them.
Sophomore from Atlanta looking for some help. It's Atwell, 2 to shoot. Atwell doing his dance into the paint.
That could be a tie-up.
Tie-up, you're right. Possession arrow stays with the Red Raiders as the Cyclones again ratchet up their defense.
Yeah, they have to get this ball in the attack lanes a little bit quicker, because they do not want to be forcing themselves into the middle of the floor against a team that can really help defensively.
Shot clock is at 0.1. All you can do is just basically throw it up and try to tip it towards the basket. And it's a turnover. 11th of the day. They had 5 in the first half, already 6 since, and foul issues now that Grant McCaslin is thinking about.
Yeah, I think it's that play with 0.1 on the clock. I think you just don't want to turn it over there.
Lipsy, the orchestrator, to the basket. They got a piece, and we're going to get more contact.
Yeah, what you're going to see too, Spears, you're going to see a lot of this in the last, 10 minutes or so, just under 10 minutes, going to the line because they're in the bonus, and just keep driving it. And you notice how he Lipsy is so crafty when it comes to going to the basket. He threw his body just enough into the defender to get to the line. Now he's got to hit these free throws, though. 65% free throw shooter.
Bamboye whistled for the foul, his 3rd personal. And again, Jimmy, comes back to the free throw shooting. So few weaknesses for TJ Otzelberger's team, but at the free throw line, 67%, worst number of any team in the Big 12. And you start to get into March, so many of these games come tightly contested down to late free throws.
Yeah, exactly. Especially, with Jefferson handling the ball a lot. Lipsy.
The Iowa State Cyclones at one point down 20, have cut it to 13.
I like Watts handling the ball a little bit, take the pressure off Anderson, save some legs, especially with 4 fouls.
Red Raiders playing deep into the shot clock. 9 to shoot.
Nice work by Jefferson.
Nice little backdoor cut. Watts, erased.
Gotta shoot it. You have to shoot it.
Shot clock at 2. Watts is gonna fire, and he buries it. And he lets him hear about it here at Ames.
Not sure he heard me over here yelling, you have to shoot it. We were great look at that over his right shoulder.
Just a magic shot from Watts. And that gives the Red Raiders a little bit of breathing room as we hit 9 minutes left. Jefferson. And the Cyclones parade to the free throw line here in the second half continues. But you're starting to feel that antsiness, some of that urgency from this capacity crowd.
Look at the clock.
Atwell is whistled.
Clock, 2 seconds left on it.
LaJuan Watts, what a story that young man has endured. Lost both of his parents, his father to a heart attack when he was just a 7th grader. And his mom passing away tragically from cancer when Watts was just a sophomore in high school. Was basically raised from that point on from one of his older sisters who had to leave college to take care of him and his younger brother. And what a player he's become. First year in the program in Lubbock. And just a gigantic shot for the Red Raiders. Big free throws from Jefferson. Back into the game comes Jalen Petty, the freshman.
So Iowa State's clipping at a 75% ratio, percentage with their free throws, which is up 8% versus their season average. They have to continue to take advantage of getting the ball down on the blocks in the middle of the paint to get to the line as much as possible.
So that massive free throw discrepancy. Jefferson extends his defense against that well.
Wow.
Poked away, High Z. Officials are going to get a loose ball foul on Petty. What a play by High Z.
Boy, that's great pressure out front.
Double bonus now, Jimmy. So 2 free throws rest of the way. And Nate High Z got some good genes in that family. His sister Taylor, just part of the gold medal winning U.S. Olympic women's hockey team in Italy. What a moment for their family. And now High Z doing his thing on the big stage.
She had a goal in the semifinals and an assist on the winner, right, in the finals.
It's amazing to watch both the women and the men's teams finding glory in Milan. And now High Z, a couple of big free throws. And it's starting to get tight here in Ames.
Yeah, free throws are getting them and keeping them in this game at the same time. On the other side with Texas Tech, you only have 4 free throws. 3 for 4. 17 of 22 for the Cyclones.
There's the foul woes right now for the Red Raiders. Texas Tech was up 16 at halftime. Here comes Watts. Reset. Anderson. Too much. High Z, the loose change. Jefferson looking to push. Here he comes, rumbling down the paint. Flicks it up. Nearly went. And Iowa State trying to will itself to the finish line.
I'm still thinking I missed maybe by 2 minutes. At the 10-minute mark, I was thinking that the momentum would shift. I think it has shifted just a little bit in their favor, even though they're still down. 65-53.
So Watts, Petty, and Christian Anderson now, Jimmy, all have 4 personals for the Red Raiders.
And they continue to stroke at the line.
Grant McCaslin is going to reinsert Josiah Mosley into the game, so McCaslin's going to have to go deeper into his bench. A team that has had to hit the reset button after losing JT Toppin to that devastating ACL tear. They built a lead by as big as 20 at a place that has been a house of horrors for opposing teams this season. And now can they hang on here in Ames?
Well, against Texas Tech, they're 16-6, so they've had some luck here. Look at this double team.
And the officials are going to say reach in. Wow. Anderson was in trouble with that full court trap.
See, one of the things I think he has to do, when he turns the corner here, he has to go fast along the sideline if he's going to be over there, because if not, it's like almost as if he's trapped with the back court. Not a great place.
Foul charge to Jefferson, so the Cyclones now just one more foul to give. Here's a corner 3. Bryant hit those 2 big ones early, not that time.
Another good pass by Anderson, but to come up with zip. Touch down the middle again.
Jefferson left hand and contact.
Well, the momentum is clearly shifted as you see Jefferson coming down, using that body to bang people, to go to the glass and finish it off. Regroup the touch.
TJ Otzelberger, see what they've done. 7 unanswered points over the last 75 seconds. They've hit their last 3 from the field. The last time Texas Tech's lead was under 10 points, was the 8:40 mark of the first half. And now Joshua Jefferson, a young man who has had some kind of a run here, second year in this Iowa State program. He is on pace to be the first player in the history of the Big 12 to average over a season 15 points, 7 rebounds, Jimmy, and 5 assists.
Yep.
Huge three-point play.
And at his position, too, Spirit, 6'9", he can handle the ball, and we just saw that breakaway right through the middle of the floor.
Anderson, short. Loose ball foul against the Cyclones.
Did they get Buchanan in the middle of the lane?
Texas Tech desperately trying to end this 8-0 Iowa State run as the officials get Buchanan underneath.
Good call.
And that's the last foul that the Cyclones, Jimmy, have to give. 7:36 remaining.
They better hurry. Just getting it in.
Inbound Bamboye. Anderson lost his footing.
Well, that's a deflection. He can go back and get that.
Jimmy, I don't think the crowd agrees with you. Anderson looking for some daylight. 5 to shoot. He's in trouble. Spinning. Traveling violation.
Now they agree with us.
Graham McCaslin giving his star playmaker an earful. 13th Red Raiders turnover.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. He had the other foot as his pivot foot. I thought the call could have been made quicker even on that one.
Look at the turnover breakdown for Texas Tech. Lipsy coming heavy.
Yeah, and he continues to search for a body on that curl over the top of the screen. And it has steel doors, so nothing gets out. It's wild. It sounds like it, doesn't it?
Jimmy digging deep. I did not get into the structural design of the building. That was impressive, my friend.
Thank you. Let's build a house.
7 minutes left. Christian Anderson playing with 4 personals.
We've got to get Atwell a shot here sooner or later.
This is Petty. Elevates, and he bangs it in. Gigantic shot from Petty. The freshman from Seattle. 9-point game.
Yeah, that's the most impressive part of it. The freshman from Seattle.
This is Momcilovic.
Size advantage.
Stops on a dime, and he left it short. Off the floor comes Atwell as we come up on the 6-minute mark.
Remember, Atwell doesn't drive it, so they're sticking out there on him.
Anderson has been their orchestrator. Top 10 in the country as a scorer and an assist man. Guarded by Momcilovic. Petty.
They like the small versus big matchups, don't they?
Crossover spin, the fade, and he puts it down.
Boy, Petty and Anderson are just mixing it up. Once they get the switch and a big guy comes out on either of them, they know that's the time for us to make things happen.
Graham McCaslin said one of the adjustments without JT Toppin are guards touching the basketball more as Buchanan unable to finish.
Bamboye just then absolutely tremendous defensively.
And Bamboye, Jimmy, playing with 4 personals.
Yeah, he challenged them defensively just then, straight up.
So the Cyclones come up empty. And right now playing in an 11-point hole with 5:26 remaining. Petty.
He's still looking for his action.
This is Anderson into the corner. Open 3. Bryan, way too much.
That might have been off Atwell's foot just then. Watch Petty against the big guy. Boom, couple of spins, and then look at that fall away. Just getting some separation on it. And here's that big defensive play. He goes straight up. I don't think he hits his arm at all, either right or left.
Boy, that is surgical defense with the money on the table. Again, playing with 4 personals. What a play by Bamboye.
See if they continue to force the action. Here we go again.
Lipsy underneath Buchanan. Bamboye got him again.
A little different that time, slightly from the side and the back.
Bamboye making his 3rd straight start in the place vacated by JT Toppin.
Yeah, I like what Iowa State is doing to challenge him too, but he's answering. There's that Atwell shot.
Atwell on a 3-point jack.
You knew they had to get him one to get him on track.
Donovan Atwell, one of the top three-point marksmen in the country, makes it a 14-point game. And the Red Raiders have hit 8 unanswered points. This is Jefferson on the box, steps back, the fade short. And the Cyclones have gone stone cold.
Now you sit on one right now. You go at about the 10-second mark. Spear, I think you don't want a rush shot here. You want to make sure.
3 straight empty trips for Iowa State. And right now they're on the ropes. Petty thought about it.
Yep, good no shot though. Now he has a chance to reload against a taller guy again.
Good movement. Anderson open baseline. Jay, no. Momcilovic tracks it down.
They need a bucket right now.
We are inside of 4 minutes left here in Ames. Iowa State currently on the 2-seed line, according to our CBS Sports bracketology. Getting everything they can handle. It's going to be on Bamboye. He is fouled out. Lipsy will shoot 2 when we come back.
Yeah, he made some terrific blocks. Here's the other one right there. Previous to that, he gets his hand on the ball. And then here we go, the other end. Atwell coming down from long range. A big bucket.
Now looking for some magic.
Yeah, the effort that Texas Tech has put up, especially in the second half, shooting the 3. On top of these numbers that you see, timeouts left 2, but I think the key thing becomes the way they're shooting it at 54% in the third, in the second half here. That's a big one right there defensively, though, with him fouling out. Terrific game by Bamboye.
Big free throws coming up here for Taman Lipsy. So Bamboye done for the day, fouling out to what was his 3rd straight start since the injury to JT Toppin. And we keep coming back to the free throw headline for this Iowa State team. One of their weaknesses, few weaknesses as an offensive team. And Lipsy leaving a critical point at the line.
You would think make or miss, it's either going to be a full court trapping defense or at least at half court. Nice rebound by Jefferson here.
Jefferson powers back up, left it short.
Wow, 3 guys were all over that second rebound.
Anderson walks a tightrope on the baseline with that pass to Atwell.
Way to go, pull it back out. Nice move by Atwell. Simple, but don't force the action.
There's the dribble drive. Bryant to the basket. Boy, how many big plays has he made in the second half?
He's had a couple of 3s from the left corner. Boy, that was a challenge to silence this crowd.
10 straight for the Red Raiders. And now it's desperation time for Iowa State. Jefferson.
This is where the guard play is really handy for Texas Tech.
Jefferson back-to-back 20-point games as we move inside of 3 minutes. And Jimmy, how about Christian Anderson reinserted by Grant McCaslin with 4 fouls, just under 11 minutes left in the second half. And he has kept his nose clean since. Here he is with the ball. Anderson jump pass, changed his mind, 6 to shoot.
He's got to go with it. He can't give it up.
Anderson doing his dance off balance and hits. Christian Anderson with some late game magic.
Well, and to your point just then too, Spiro, in terms of being able to get himself
against Arizona, and then the very next game losing JT Toppin, their superstar to the ACL. And boy, if there was ever any question whether or not they can still contend without Toppin, Jimmy, I think they're putting some of those questions to bed.
And Spiro, to that point, they have 6 guys in double figures today, so that answers the question, at least for today. We're going to spread it all out and get everybody involved. Nice deflection out front.
It was Mosley who got Momcilovic. And then the contact in the transition. It was really interesting as we get another look at this shot. Look at the defense by Mosley.
Straight up, stays away, and clears him on the way down.
And we listened to McCaslin talk about the psychological hangover, losing JT Toppin. And then we asked him at the end of our conversation, do you still have the same confidence that you guys can make that deep run? And without any hesitation, he said yes.
Very confident in the other guys on this team. Just as long as they keep the motor going, and the motor was very, very good today.
What a statement that they are making here in Ames, one of the toughest buildings to play in, as they've got it, and this place is eerily quiet.
And Mosley has given them a good afternoon of numbers also.
Good movement as they try to play keep away here.
Now you want to hold on till about 8 seconds on the shot clock and have one of your guards try to do something. Not totally one-on-one, but give it up when they have to if need be.
Shot clock down to 3. Anderson turning the corner. Just brilliant.
Boy, what a reaction just then. They used the shot clock perfectly.
Bateman fires a 3, trying to breathe life into the Cyclones. $1:23 remaining. But it is fully desperation mode here. 14-point game. And it is going to be Jalen Petty to the free throw line. As now both teams are shooting free throws here. 1-and-1 Petty. It is the 8th team foul against the Cyclones.
And a very, very good shooter at the line at 87%. And with that, opens the door a little bit.
Momcilovic, that's a 3. For the way they shoot it from the outside, you're never quite out of the woods. Quick timeout taken by TJ Otzelberger. And this historic 3-point shooter, Momcilovic, now at 17 points. Game reset with 72 seconds left. Double bonus for TJ Otzelberger Cyclones as they try to rev up their full court press defense here.
Yeah, it's catch, trap, and then foul if you have to.
Try to go for the steal, and Graham McCaslin gets a timeout. So 69 seconds. Tech did not look like a team that was intimidated in the least.
You may have to go with something towards half court if you can. Nope, that's covered. There you go in that direction at least.
Torre trying to create the steal. And now just 1 second coming off the clock. If Texas Tech wins this game, Jimmy, it'll be their 3rd win this season over a top 5 team, their 4th win over a top 10 opponent.
Whoa, he almost fell down and walked just then.
Officials are going to get a little bit of a push. It'll be the 9th on the Cyclones, so still a 1-and-1 here. As Jalen Petty will make that long walk to the free throw line.
And I'm going to say it again, Spiro. He's an 87% free throw shooter. He missed the last one.
You want to make up for that, broadcasters, Jinx? The man out of Rainier Beach High School that has produced so much big-time talent over the years. And it was one of the guys that Graham McCaslin mentioned. Wow. He misses again. Well, it's a double, Jinx. Whew. You don't see too many of those.
No, not at all.
But one of the guys that McCaslin mentioned that has become a bigger focal point since the injury to Toppin is Jefferson. Again, works his way down to the box. That'll cut it to 9.
Yep, you want to push it to the blocks, and you don't want to foul if you're Texas Tech. Somebody's got to come to the ball.
52 seconds. Oh, pass Anderson. It's a turnover.
They can really double team you, Iowa State, with their defense, whether it's a full court, half court, or, you know, in the half court sets.
They lead the Big 12 in forced turnovers per game, 15 per.
Just bounced it out of bounds on that one. Catching it in a bad spot. Go quickly.
Momcilovic.
Well defended out there by Anderson.
There's the sharp shooter. And he cans it. The Cyclones not quite done just yet.
They kept looking for him.
And boy, that flips the script big time.
It
is a 2-possession game with 42.4. A little bit of a conversation here. Tony Padilla, Jimmy, is at the table as the Cyclones have scored 11 unanswered. They've hit their last 4 shots. Not sure if they're going to put a little bit more time on the clock. Yes, that's what they're doing.
The first instincts were, hey, does it have a 3-point shot? But that's well beyond.
So not a charged timeout to either team. The officials just going to the table. So they put, I believe, about 0.4 seconds back on the game clock. 42.8. And my goodness, has this dynamic changed quickly?
Well, it sure has. Question becomes if Texas Tech can respond and break a press. You do not want to run into that deep corner. You want to stay away from the deep corners. Now they're
Inbound to
bobbling.
Petty, Jefferson, and the save. Momcilovic, a little bit short as the Red Raiders dodge a bullet.
Oh yeah, they get deflections. They're getting
Just a frantic pace. Edwell careening down the floor. They're going to reset as Petty is bumped. That's going to put Iowa State at the 10 foul mark as a team. So double bonus now for Texas Tech. And Jalen Petty, who's been a little shaky, Jimmy, at the free throw line, is going to shoot 2.
That's a deflection and a fabulous play by Jefferson. And the quick trigger just floating a little bit to his left. And he brought the ball off the left side of the rim.
He's 0 for 4 at the line.
Well, they need 1 just for 3 possessions.
Jimmy, you can shoot about 1,000 of these. Nothing prepares you quite for a moment like this.
Yep, in this building with this noise, there you go.
23.8. It's a 7-point game here in Ames.
And they obviously have to go quickly with this guy.
Lipsy will fire. Rebound underneath Mosley. Big miss. And that takes some of the wind out of the sails of the Cyclones as we are down to 12.9 left. And the Red Raiders desperately trying to hold on. And once again, this building goes quiet as they start to head for the exits here at Hilton Coliseum. An Iowa State team currently number 4 in the AP poll, 8th in the net. And now in danger of falling, Jimmy, to that 4th slot in the Big 12 standings. We know Houston won earlier.
Yep. A great effort in a lot of different ways with Texas Tech.
Texas Tech and Iowa State, 2 of the 3 teams currently tied in that number 2 or number 3 slot in the Big 12 standings. And the Texas Tech Red Raiders come to Ames, one of the most difficult buildings to play in, and improve to 3-0 since the loss of their superstar JT Toppin. Just a magnificent performance by Grant McCaslin's Red Raiders. 82-73 your final.